Welcome, and we're very happy to, I guess we're the last panel today, and we're happy to rock and roll and wake you up and get you all ready for the networking and the evening sessions of fun. So I'm Nancy Plager. I am the Executive Vice President of the IWEC Foundation, which stands for the International Women's Entrepreneurial Challenge Foundation, otherwise known as IWEC. It's much easier to say that. This was an organization that was started by the Barcelona Chamber of Commerce, the Federation of Indian Chambers in New Delhi, and the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce here in New York. And at the time, I was the president of the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce, and we determined that we wanted to have a women's program to really focus on successful women business owners, not necessarily startups, and not necessarily major corporations, but women who had already made it, who were looking to grow their business, who were creating more jobs, who were doing wonderful things in their communities, and who were going global, were already doing global business and wishing to expand. So we started the program deciding that we would have an annual conference, and we'll pick a theme at the conference and go from there. And after 5 years, we decided that it had enough legs and interest that we would split the program off into its own entity. So it became a 501c3 nonprofit registered here in the United States. So that was only in March of 2016. So we're only a little bit over 3 years old. But the point is that we work through chambers of commerce and women's business groups, through our past awardees. We offer 4 major platforms to help women grow their business globally, and that is market intelligence. If you're going to go to a new country, you definitely need market intelligence. You need boots on the ground. You need to know what the environment is like, etc. The second is education. So we're continually educating our women-owned businesses on the next platforms, on cybersecurity, whatever it is that's going to help you advance your business and stay on the cutting edge in your industry. We also offer connections with chambers of commerce all over the world, and we go to them to help us find the market intelligence to make connections for you in that country. And then the last is visibility. And what we mean by that is that at every one of our conferences, a chamber of commerce or a women's business organization that's our partner nominates anywhere between 1 to 3 successful women businesses in their community that have created success by going global, by doing global business. And we actually give them an award, honor them, and bring them into our network. So right now we've honored over 377 women. I'm about to go to our annual conference in India, where we will honor another 40 women, add them to our network, and it continues to grow. And I don't know if all of you know about this, because we were looking for a common platform. What platform could we use that everyone around the world is able to get on, to use, to share, to connect, to visit, to seek new sources, etc.? And that's WhatsApp. If any of you use WhatsApp, you know, it used to be just the free phone call. Everybody would call home, call their family, but no. Now you can share documents, you can share videos. It's become a very active platform for us at IWEC to share and connect. So I encourage all of you to look at WhatsApp if you're doing global business, wish to do global business, but have not started to use that platform yet. It's a very good platform. So we have a number of wonderful entrepreneurs here, which is right to my heart. And they're all in different businesses, so we're anxious to get started. And I guess I will also copycat. And a fun fact about me is here I am. I was the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce president for 21 years, smack dab in the middle of New York City. And I'm a New England Patriots fan. I could never wear my Tom Brady New England Patriots shirt around. I would get beaten on the head. So that's my fun fact. So we're going to start. Everyone will introduce themselves, talk a little bit about their business, and then we'll ask a few questions and jump in and then go to questions from the audience. Okay, take it away.
So thank you very much for your time. I bet it's been a long day, so I'm really glad to see a lot of smiley faces at the end. If you're wondering how to pronounce my name, it's Lujza, even though that's a very weird spelling. I come from Slovakia. and I'm here to represent entrepreneurial spirits, I hope, and maybe tell a little bit more about how I started businesses, how I failed, and how it made me understand a little bit more and a little more to the ground and be a little more, I would say, rational about what it actually means to run a business. So I've started years and years and years back when I was a professional golf player. Maybe that would be a fun fact. And I realized that playing golf during the winter was a very, very difficult task for me because I'm coming from Slovakia, not a very well-supported sport. So I wrote a motivation letters to Spanish golf clubs in the south if I can work for them for half of the day for free, and the other half I would work. So that was my first kind of touch with digital marketing. I started doing the first Facebook organized events. What is it, 12, 13 years ago? First advertising on YouTube. So that was like first kind of entrepreneurial, I would say, actions of mine. But there was always a big motivation behind it, and I think that I kept that until today. So for now, I'm now working with my 5th venture. I've invested some of the capital that I've made into a company. One is actually located in New York. What else can I say? I mean, it's been just. I mean, it all sounds very fabulous, but at the end of the days, I'm always the one who flies the cheapest airlines and stays in the cheapest Airbnbs and has the lowest payroll or check at the end of the month. But it doesn't matter because for me, it's. Like I'm not worried about myself. Even if everything goes boom tomorrow, I think like I can always find something where I can create value because I've been in the media, I've been in tech, I've been in the sports. Now we're switching a little bit into healthcare. So like a lot of fields that you can cover when you're just not giving up. I think that not giving up is very important. That's why I tattooed this on my forearm because it's Disney. It's a combination of business and creativity, and he was the one who never gave up. So he said a lot of no's, and he never took the no for an answer. So that would be probably my motto: never give up. Thank you.
Gee, I wish you had a little bit more confidence. Okay, let's see if anybody else can beat that one.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm really happy that you all came to listen to us today. I'm Ivana, I'm co-founder of Carte and Art and Design. So I grew up in Prague. Then I went to French school, and then I was a part of the Czech national team in horse riding for a while as well. And that's when actually my failures started. I went to Olympic qualification and I completely failed. After I had to go to the university, so I had to decide if it's going to be horses or the university because I went to Switzerland for mechanical engineering. And after a few years there, I actually failed as well my finals. So coming back to Prague, I had to decide what to do. And I traveled for a while and I saw that there is a booming market in digital marketing and some demand. So I started a company in digital marketing, did a diploma in digital marketing. We were building a website as well. Then I traveled to China to open a branch there because there was some demand between Chinese coming to Europe and having some digital marketing in there with the new businesses. And I somehow found myself designing furniture in one Chinese company just for fun, and they liked it so much. So we actually got a deal with them, and we will be launching a new furniture designs in Shanghai this year in November. And by side, I founded another company that's called Travel à la Carte, which is my main project now because the other one is my sister who's taking care of it so far. And that's an app in fintech and travel tech, and that's what I'm mainly doing now. So my life was so far a great adventure. I was quite global from different countries, and what could I say? What I've learned the most is how to fail, actually, and I believe that in order to win something, you have to be first a great loser. and I think I have become a quite successful loser these last years. So yeah, that's a short story of mine.
Hello. First of all, I want to thank you for the invitation and thank you for staying, because it's been a long day, as Lujza has just said. My name is Magda Kordon. I'm the CEO and a founder of intoDNA. It's a biotech startup company that was actually incorporated around 2 years ago in Poland. My background is in science and biophysics and cell biology. And actually, during my PhD studies, one of the side products was the development of a new technology for super sensitive DNA damage detection named Stride. And actually, this is how the whole adventure with running business and becoming an entrepreneur began, actually. That was the, let's say, the transformation for me from being a scientist to becoming a serious entrepreneur who is providing something that could help people, providing commercially, but not losing this, scientific vibe in what we're doing. Fun fact about me is that I'm also, I would say, like a semi-professional violinist, because I also graduated from the Conservatory of Music in Krakow, in Poland. So,
Excellent.
Yeah, can you hear me? No. I'm Johanna. I'm a German speech and language pathologist. And first of all, I also want to thank you. And I think today you could see like so many great women on stage and also in the audience. And I think it's really, for me personally, so inspiring to see all of you here, because it shows quite well how you can grow also personal and professional. And yeah, I'm the vice president of Speechagain. It's a digital speech therapy for people who stutter. So we offer an evidence-based therapy method and to people who stutter and also speech therapists. And we're using speech recognition for our clients to learn a specific speech method to overcome their blockages. And maybe one fun fact, or I don't know, it's actually not so fun, but it's a surprising fact maybe about me. I was the only one in class in school who decided not to have English in the upper classes because I couldn't understand a word. And I was just super anxious to speak in front of people, even like a little class. And I think being here today and speaking in front of you, it's still very exciting to me, but also, I think it shows that it's sometimes good also, to face the personal challenges. And another maybe a little bit more, because I don't want to sound too negative here, or it's positive that I'm now here on stage and speak in front of you. I'm really happy about this. I'm back in Germany. I used to sing in little bars. I really like it to sing chansons, and if you might know a nice place where I can practice with the piano, I'm also really open to a good place where I can practice.
Okay, you all heard that. Anybody know any? See her afterwards. You're not on. I don't know. Speak into it and see if it comes up. Can you hear her?
I always get the mic somehow.
Okay.
No, we need it.
Somebody's going to need it.
It was just saying that, and I'm so happy that I don't have the mic today, but okay. So, my name is Zsuzsanna. I'm from Hungary, and I'm a chief of staff at a company called GIVZ. We are a tech startup, and we build a platform where you can donate to any American charities within seconds. So Nancy, if you want to use us, and ask everybody to register today, that anybody can donate to you or any other charities very quickly. So it's like Venmo for charitable giving. And what we started to do is we're kind of changed our focus right now, and we are trying to help brands, D2C companies, to empower their customer and create an emotional connection with their customers. Because we propose them that instead of giving like 50% discount or 20% discount, they should give like 50%, 20% worth of credit with us, which their customers can donate to any charities. So we're trying to make the world a little bit a better place by financially incentivizing these companies to actually donate and have a corporate social responsibility program via a marketing budget, which is very important. Fun fact about me, I don't know how much fun it is, but I'm originally a constitutional lawyer. If you told me 4 years ago that I'm going to be at a tech startup, I would have been like, nope, no way. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm a comparative constitutional lawyer. I came here to the US like 4 years ago with a Fulbright scholarship to NYU Law School in Georgetown. And I had to realize that if I want to make this world better, then sitting in a room and being in academia might not be as effective than trying to work for a startup and create social impact. So that's my story. Thank you.
Good. Hopefully mine works. Okay. So hi everybody, my name is Eva. I can't turn my head here because you won't hear me, so I'm sorry. So I'm co-founder and CEO of Event Advisor, which is something like a quality mirror in the conference industry. It collects reviews and ratings, and it combines the ratings and other quality factors in some kind of predictive rating. So it enables you to attend only the conferences that are really worth going to. So to remind you, you can also rate this brilliant event because the world deserves to know that this is a great event. You can do it through amazing Slido application on the left corner with the button right here. It was like 10 or more than 13 years ago when I started a career in the conference industry as a marketing director, and then even a board member of the global conference organizer. And then during the time I realized how amazing our conferences were, and there was no independent platform I could really shout it to the world. And if you announce on your website like we have the best events in Europe, then nobody will really trust you, right? So that's why this idea came even in real life. In Slovakia, I also co-founded an NGO called Trust Women, which is a platform or NGO empowering women. So we also organize events to address the challenges of being a woman in business. We also develop mentorship program. We also starting to podcast, etc. So in Slovakia, the topic of challenges for women and how to become leaders as a female founders and women in business is not addressed so much in compare with the US. So that's why we saw a huge opportunity to create something like that back in Slovakia. Fun fact about me, during the whole career, more than 13 years in the conference industry, this is the first time I'm on the stage, actually, apart from pitching, but that's really different story, so.
Congratulations. Two of our panelists mentioned sports. One mentioned golf, the other mentioned horse riding. And it is my contention that in looking at women around the world, no matter what country they're from, it makes and builds stronger leaders and entrepreneurship when you have played sports, whether it's a single sport or a team sport. So I wanted to ask the audience today, can you raise your hand if you played a sport when you were younger or still playing sport? Okay, panel, help me. How many, can you raise it higher? How many people do you think played sports? Half of the room? Half of the room?
More. Maybe
More than half? And how about the rest of you? Did any of the four of you who didn't mention sports play sport?
Well, I don't do it like professionally, and I never did it professionally, but it's part of my, it's my major way of like escaping. So I do a couple of things. It's like mountain biking, so that's one thing. Second thing is sailing. So I'm in a sailing club, and we, like go for sailing trips at least 2 or 3 times a year.
It's a team to sail.
Yeah, so like it's either like doing something individually, like mountain biking or skiing, for example, as well, or doing like sailing cannot be done without doing it in a team, in a group of people. So it combines, like the combination of these different areas is, I think, giving me support in terms of like skills development as well.
Mm-hmm. Did you play sports?
Yeah, I'm not playing team sports, but so in my childhood, I was doing a lot of dancing, more like ballet and modern dance. And then the last years, I tried also a lot of yoga because it's kind of, I had the feeling it was just in the room. Luckily now I went back and did more of the dancing again because I thought, why? I'm not doing this anymore. It was always so much my thing. And so I also started here in New York to dance contemporary, and yeah, it's really so much fun.
Excellent. And you ladies?
I swam for 8 or 10 years, and then I started water ballet. That was challenge, I would say. And now I just decided that I want to learn golf. So I'm terrible at it, but
Do you give
it's so
lessons?
much fun.
I do for friends.
First customer.
Well, I used to do Thai boxing for more than 5 years. And I forgot to mention that I'm the mother of 2 years old, the daughter, so it's a kind of sport that I practice.
Yes, that's a sport in itself. Because obviously the thing that we think about sports is especially team sports, that you learn how to work in a team, you learn the strengths, the weaknesses, how everyone can participate at different levels, you learn leadership skills. So we feel that I'd say about 90% of the women in our network, because they fill out a survey, have played sports when they were younger, which goes to our theory that playing a sport makes you a stronger leader and more entrepreneurial in your thinking. So what I wanted to ask, which is something that I think we always learn from when we talk to successful entrepreneurs who have built their own companies, like what was like one major challenge? And because you are all coming from different countries, I don't know if it varies from country to country, or obviously I think the main challenge that most people have is, most women, is raising capital. But that may not be your biggest challenge. What was your biggest challenge? You've all started in one place and come around and started your own businesses. So what's the biggest challenge that each of you has had to overcome? And how'd you do it?
I think for me, at least, it was always conflict. It was, and maybe not even conflict in a way like having a fight necessarily, but like coming in front before you start a company. Just set up the rules very firmly, and that was always the reason why the company or the venture failed. So either it was because the vision wasn't set up right, the rules were not set up right, just because I wasn't feeling that conversation I wasn't feeling comfortable in a conflicting situation. I think that would be something that I would definitely redo, or I learned from it the most. It wasn't the raising of the capital, it was more the relationships between the founders that was always the hardest part for me to handle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Someone else want to jump in?
I'm not sure if I can say if there is like one biggest challenge. I guess that for entrepreneurs, every day is somehow a challenge. Every day you wake up, there is something that's going to come and surprise you. I think that one of the most important things that I've learned is really with the failure, that you have to learn from it and not go down, and that it's not the end of the world. And You have to trust in yourself and what you're doing and continue. And that's really important, I would say. And on the other hand, it's of course entering new markets because it's surprising, but when you enter China, everything is in Chinese. So yeah, and cultural differences that actually you wouldn't thought about them that much.
That's definitely a challenge when you're doing global business, is understanding the culture, because sometimes you even have to change your product or your packaging to fit into the culture. That's all part of the market intelligence that you need to learn, and can't just assume that everybody's going to love this product and this package in this way. So yeah, understand that. Yeah.
For me, I think the biggest challenge was the personal challenge, because I've already mentioned it, to go through a sort of a personal transformation from being a scientist and thinking about our product, meaning our technology, in a scientific way, and starting to think about it more as an entrepreneur. And I got a lot of support from the people around me, especially my fiancé. He's actually an entrepreneur, quite successful one. So he gave me he pushed me towards the right direction, I think. I was trying to look for inspiration. I was reading a lot. I think that the fact that we joined the acceleration program at the BioCity UK was also a catalyst of this process for us. So it showed us who is the customer. And then actually when we acquired our first customer and when we delivered, the first service to our customer, being a biotech company from the UK, that made me look at our technology, like our science, as an entrepreneur. So I'm always going to be a scientist by heart, but my head is now an entrepreneur. Finally, I hope.
I think I focused personal and business challenges. I think on the personal side, it was for me very, the business communication is quite different here in the US compared to Germany. In Germany, we are more used to say everything very, very direct, which is sometimes maybe not like so polite, but that's the way how we communicate. And coming here to the United States, I had to understand that, that usually a no is more presented in a very friendly way. And to get like these little differences, I think that was my personal biggest challenge. I think especially when you're not a native speaker, I think that's on top of that. And on the other hand, business size, I can totally agree what Ivana just said. Like as a startup, you have like everyday challenges, and in the beginning, it might be like founding the subsidiary company or dealing with like tax laws. I had no idea about tax laws before in the United States. So like all these different topics, but I think in the end, when you see like your product is live and the first users are using your product, then it's really worth it, and it's a great feeling then.
I'm going to try to be quick. So I think for me, the biggest challenge on a personal level, and that became a company challenge as well, was when I joined the company. There were basically two American guys, the co-founders, and just building on what Johanna said. It took me for a while to change the company culture, and I think it's very important with early stage companies that you're very direct, that you speak your mind, that there's no like wishy-washy discussions going on, that you're equipped to make the decisions that you have to make very quickly. So I was very happy to build a bigger company because I'm partially charged of in HR and internal team management. And we have a very diverse team now, which I'm very, very happy about. And we have huge fights, which I think is great, but and not in a polite manner.
Healthy.
It's
healthy.
It's healthy, and everybody seems happy, although we work a lot. And I think the way I kind of overcame that was, I think coming from academia helped in a funny way, because they understood that I have a very different angle from the beginning. And then the cultural difference helped a lot. And now sometimes they tell me that I'm not enough direct, which became very funny. And the last thing is that I read a lot about behavioral psychology and persuasion, which is a very, very nice literature, I think.
Indeed.
I mentioned one fact that is probably not addressed or said out loud really often. We live in some kind of startup bubble, I would say, and the standard conversation, the networking conversation, can look in a way that people ask you like, "Hi Eva, how is the business going?" And the standard answer is like, "Amazing, like full of challenges. I meet interesting people. The numbers are growing, like we are reaching there." And in the translation, what does it mean? Like, it's horrible, like I don't know what I'm doing. I really need some advice, like this week was horrible, and I don't know whether this whole thing has any meaning. And I think we all can go through this kind of phase. We all have been there. And it's important to really say it out loud that you don't need to really love your job every day. The only person that has ever said this, or I've heard it, was Kevin Systrom in the Tim Ferriss podcast. I strongly recommend it. That he said that you don't need to love it, like you can even hate it, even for some temporary period. Like you can really doubt it, whether it has any meaning. Like, yeah, we all chose it because it is our passion and we love it, but it's not the case for every day. But as long as the vision of what you are doing still causes that butterflies, or is like causes the passion in you, then you are on the right track. But it doesn't mean that you need to love it every day. And realizing this took me really long time. Like I really thought that something is wrong with me. So that was my challenge.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I think